Is there anything on behalf of the defense?
No.
Okay, thank you. All right, Juror 901 needs to speak to me, so we're going to bring that juror in at this time by himself or herself. The record should reflect that Juror 901 is now in the courtroom. Good afternoon.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I was told that you wanted to chat with me.
Yes.
What's on your mind?
Well, I was cleaning out my email over the weekend, and a name kind of popped out at me. I had interviewed to be a special agent myself back in October of last year, but my interview was January, February of this year. And the name stuck out because I think they're on the witness list. I'm not positive. Renee Vanderhaar, special agent.
Okay.
And I just wasn't sure if I needed to let you know that. So.
All right. Thank you for letting us know.
Okay.
Let me have you step out for just a moment, and then we'll be back with you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. The record should reflect that juror number 901 has exited the courtroom. Ms. Seiko. All right. Mr. Orman, do you know who this person is that she mentioned?
I do, Your Honor. Special Agent Renee Vanderhaar, she collected, I think, 3 items of evidence from the apartment.
And are you intending to call her as a witness?
Probably, Your Honor, but I may not.
Okay. So you don't know yet at this time?
I can't say definitively, Your Honor. I mean, she's on our list.
All right, I'm going to bring her back in then and ask her further questions. I mean, if you're not going to call her, I think it makes it an easier situation, but if you think you might call her, then I think I better follow up with her. So, any objection to me following up with her?
No.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's bring her back. And the record should reflect that Juror 901 is back in the courtroom. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Tell me again the name of the special agent.
Renee Vanderhaar.
And how do you know her, or what do you know about the special agent?
Well, I passed the exam, and then the next step was to be interviewed by her specifically. And that was pretty much it. I just did my interview with her. It was one day, and then I haven't seen her since.
And when was that interview?
I want to say February
Of this year?
of this year. And like I said, it didn't dawn on me the name until I cleaned out my email this weekend. So,
Have you had any other contact with her other than receiving an email that indicated you received an interview, you were granted an interview, and then being interviewed by her?
nothing since then.
Nothing since then. Any other contact at all?
No.
And was the email from her?
From her and one of her assistants.
So the email came from 2 people,
Yeah.
including her.
Right.
And then I'm assuming the email simply said, we've decided to interview you. The interview date and time is such and such.
Yes.
Was that the essence of the email?
Yes.
Anything else in that email that you remember?
Just date, time, and place.
And then the interview was, you said, 1 hour?
Yes. It would have been a 1 hour. Oh,
And
no, half hour, excuse me.
Half hour,
Yeah.
okay. And I may have misunderstood that. Half
okay.
hour. Where was the interview?
It was the building that's on Stapleton, Old Stapleton. I don't know the exact address, though. I just know it's in the Old Stapleton area.
Was Agent Vanderhart the only person during the interview
Yes.
doing the interviewing?
Yes.
And Did you receive a phone call, email, or any other communication from her following the interview?
No,
Or how about from anyone affiliated with her?
not from that office, no.
Anything about that contact with Ms. Vanderhart, Special Agent Vanderhart, and I should say those contacts because there was an email and then there was a personal in-person contact. Anything about those two things that you think affect your ability to be a fair and impartial juror in this case?
Not at all.
And if she ends up testifying, and I have no idea whether she will testify or not, but if she ends up testifying, will you be able to assess her credibility in the same way that you assess the credibility of other witnesses?
Absolutely.
And will you be able to assess her credibility consistent with my instructions on credibility
Absolutely.
and any other instructions that I give you?
Absolutely.
Are you comfortable telling me whether your job application, was this for a job application, this interview?
Yeah, it was for the special agent position, so there are different, steps that you have to take, and it literally ended after my interview.
So the application is no longer pending?
No.
All right. And it sounds like this is no longer a job possibility. They've turned you down, is that correct?
Yes, I wasn't in the highly competitive category.
Okay.
I was just most competitive, just not highly competitive.
Okay. Anything about that would affect your ability to be fair and impartial if this special agent ends up testifying?
Absolutely not.
And what if she doesn't testify? Anything about that would affect your ability to be fair and impartial?
No.
And when I say about that, I mean the decision that was made with respect to your job application.
No.
No?
It wouldn't affect it at all.
Okay. All right. Do you have any concerns at all, or were you just wanting to make sure you told me about this?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. I wasn't sure if it was the gray area that you keep bringing up at the end of every day. So I just wanted to make sure, cover my bases.
You did the right thing, and I appreciate you doing that. This is why I bring it up. It's not,
See, I've got
it's
you in my
not
head.
every day, but you are listening.
I'm sorry. Every other couple of days. Sorry about
It
that.
could be a lot worse. I could do it every day. Okay. I'm glad you told us this is exactly what you're supposed to do.
Okay.
Do you have any other concerns at all that you wish to talk to me with respect to this issue?
No other questions or concerns, huh?
Okay, great. Let me have you step out again for just a moment, okay?
Okay,
Please.
thank you.
All right. The record should reflect that juror number 901 has now stepped out of the courtroom again. Any additional record that the people want me to make?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Any additional questions that the people want me to ask?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Any action that the people are asking me to take with respect to juror 901 at this time?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right. Same questions for you, Mr. King. Any other record that you want me to make with respect to this issue?
No, Your Honor.
Any questions, any other questions that you want me to ask, juror 901?
No, thank you.
And any action that you are asking me to take at this time?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. Okay, in light of that, then let's bring the jury in, please. Thank you. Please be seated, everyone. Welcome back, members of the jury. How was lunch? Excellent. Not awesome, but excellent. All right. That's good. It's good to have you back. Ms. Tish McGuire, you may call your next witness at this time, please.
Gage Henkins, please.
Good afternoon. Could I have you raise your right hand for me so that I can administer an oath? You solemnly swear or affirm under penalty of law that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Please be seated. Please tell us your full name and spell your first and last names.
Uh, uh, G- 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 Gage Lee, uh, Henkins, Gagehankins.
Mr. McGuire, you may proceed.
Mr. Henkins, were you at the Century 16 movie theater on July 19th of 2012 in
Yes.
Aurora, Colorado?
Yes,
Did that go into the early morning of July 20th of 2012?
yes it did.
Why were you in Colorado that day?
We were out, me and my family were out there. We're out there for a convention called Friends, which is the National Association of young people who stutter.
When did you purchase your tickets for the movie?
We purchased the tickets at least 3 or 4 months in advance.
You were excited for Batman.
Yeah.
What time did you make it to the movie theater that evening?
Around 10:30.
Who did you come to the movie theater with?
I was there with 11 other people from the from the convention.
What theater number did you go into that night?
8.
So not theater 9, you went to theater 8.
No, theater 8.
What'd you do when you got to the movie theater that night?
We stood in line for about 5 minutes to receive our tickets that had been purchased online.
Where'd you go to find your seats in the movie theater?
We just kind of walked in and saw the first spot that had at least 12 seats and just sat there.
If you were looking at the movie theater screen, are you seated at the right-hand side of theater 8 or are you on the left-hand side of theater 8?
We were seated toward the right.
Were you up in that stadium seating area a couple rows up, or were you down in the seats below?
Um, in the stadium seating a few rows up.
What happened in your movie theater that night?
About 20 to 30 minutes into the movie, there was a scene with 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 gunfire, and um, and as soon as the scene had started, I had heard just heard one loud bang, and then saw what I believe to have been smoke from a fire a fire crack.
What did you do after you saw the smoke from what you thought at the time was a firecracker?
I had felt a sort of a warming, numb pain on my forearm.
What'd you do after you felt that warming, numb pain on your forearm?
I looked and saw that there was blood on my forearm, and I wasn't sure where it was coming from.
What'd you do after that?
I stood up and said "Oh fuck, what is this? What the fuck is this?" And just kind of kept wondering what it was.
And then what'd you do?
One of the people I was with, Steve, turned around and saw that something was wrong, and pulled me out of my seat and started to pull me out of the pull me out of the theater,
Your Honor, at this time, if I may approach the witness with what's been marked as People's Exhibit 1209.
Yes.
And protruded j- j- just above my wrist.
Your Honor, if I may approach the witness with what's been marked as People's Exhibits 4131 and 4132.
Yes.
Mr. Henkins, I'm going to ask you to first look at People's Exhibit 4131.
Okay.
Do you recognize person in that photograph?
Yes,
Who is that person?
that's me.
Was that picture fairly and accurately represent what you look like on July 20th of 2012?
Yes,
All right, and is injury of your arm depicted in that photograph?
yes,
If you could turn to People's Exhibit 4132, is that a close-up picture of the injuries you sustained to your arm on July 20th of 2012?
yes,
Does it fairly and accurately represent what your arm looked like on July 20th of 2012?
yes,
Your Honor, at this time, I would move for the admission of People's Exhibits 4131 and 4132.
Is there any objection to those exhibits?
No objection to 4131, no further objection to 4132.
All right. P-TR-4131 is admitted without objection and may be published. P-TR-4132 is admitted over objection based on my prior ruling. Was this subject to my prior ruling?
It was.
Okay, so it's admitted pursuant to my prior ruling.
All right, if I could please have 4131. All right, Mr. Henkins, is this the picture of you in the hospital on July 20th of 2012?
yes,
All right, if I could please have 4132. All right, and that is a close-up picture of the gunshot wound to your arm.
yes.
All right. Mr. Henkins, I would ask for you to raise your arm and show the jury where it was that the bullet protruded from on above your wrist.
It was about right here.
And do you have scars from your injuries still?
Yes, 2 of them.
And how long did it take for your injuries to heal?
Objection, relevance.
Sustained.
Your Honor, with the court's permission, I would ask Mr. Henkins to take the handheld microphone from up there so he could approach the model and show the jury where he was in Theater 8.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Henkins, if you can come up to this model with me, please. I'm just going to need you to turn that microphone on. All right, and then this is the yellow line represents the line between Theater 9 and Theater 8, and you can see there are different theater background colors up here on the model. Could you show the jury whereabouts, obviously this is not all of Theater 8, but if you could show them whereabouts you were that night on July 20th of 2012?
It would have been one more seat in this row.
So right up here about?
Yes.
All right, and if you could show the jury on this model where it was that you saw the smoke in Theater 8?
Right down along this way.
So right along that staircase area? And that's the right side of the theater if you're facing the screen?
Yes.
All right, and could you show the jury where you exited the theater?
Would have been this way.
All right. And there was nothing else that you noticed in the theater at all other than that smoke?
No.
Right. All right. I have no further questions. Thank you very much, Mr. Henkins. You can turn that microphone off. Just return it up there for me.
Do you have any cross-examination?
I have no cross-examination, and I do not object to this witness being released from his subpoena.
All right, thank you. And the jury does not seem to have any questions. Ms. Tisch-McGuire, may this witness be released from his subpoena?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, sir, thank you.
Thank you.
Call your next witness, please.
Brad Zubrowski, Your Honor.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Do You solemnly swear or affirm under penalty of law that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do swear, Your Honor.
All right, please be seated. You can hand me that exhibit that was left behind there. All right, thank you. Susan, here you go. Thank you. Please tell us your full name and spell your first and last names.
My full name is Bradford Benjamin Zubrowski. My first name spelled is Bradford, and the spelling of my last name is Z as in zebra, B as in boy, Orowski.
And how do you spell Benjamin?
Benjamin is Benjamin.
All right, Mr. Orman, you may proceed.
How are you employed, sir?
I'm employed with the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office.
What is your job
Currently,
currently?
I'm a supervisor, I'm a sergeant
Where?
at the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office.
And what's your job as a sergeant? What do you oversee?
Currently, I'm assigned to detention services.
I want to go back to July 20th and July 21st of 2012. Were you a sergeant back then?
I was not.
Were you working at the jail back then?
I was not.
What were you doing back then?
I was an investigator with the Sheriff's Office. I was assigned to the FBI.
Did you participate in a search of the dumpster at 1690 Paris Street?
I did.
And whose idea was it to search the dumpster?
It was mine.
Where was the dumpster when you first found it?
I believe it was situated at the northeast corner of 1690 Paris Street.
Did you move it?
Initially, no.
Before the search, did you move it?
No,
Okay. So let's talk about the search. Did you actually go into the dumpster?
I did. I climbed into it.
What did you see in the dumpster when you climbed in?
Lots of garbage.
Okay. Did you see anything that to you looked like it might have evidentiary value?
I did.
What did you see?
I located a couple of bags, black plastic garbage bags. Within the bags, I saw numerous boxes of ammunition, empty ammunition, specifically .40 caliber and .223.
What did you do with those two black garbage bags?
I removed them from the dumpster and set them next to it.
You know, I believe 4062 has been admitted, and I'd like to publish that at this time.
Okay.
Those are the garbage bags?
Yes, they are.
And do you know if those were subsequently searched by an FBI agent named Peter Hunkar?
Yes, they were.
Thank you. I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Any cross-examination?
No, thank you.
All right. The jury does not appear to have any questions for this witness. May this witness be excused, Mr. Orman?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Call your next witness, please.
The people call Maria Pedalina.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm under penalty of law that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Please be seated. Please tell us your full name and spell your first, middle, and last names.
Maria Kathleen Pedalina, MariacathleenPetolina.
Ms. Pearson, you may proceed.
Ms. Pedalina, who do you work for?
The Aurora Police Department.
What do you do for them?
I'm a crime scene investigator.
What does that mean that you do in the course of your job?
As a crime scene investigator with the Aurora Police Department, my primary role is to respond to calls for service within the city limits, with my primary responsibility being to identify, locate, document, and collect evidence.
How long have you worked at the Aurora Police Department?
Approximately 3.5 years.
Did you work at another police agency prior to that?
I did.
Where was that?
Durham Police Department in Durham, North Carolina.
And how long did you work there?
Approximately 2 years.
Do you have training specifically to be a CSI?
I do, yes.
What is that?
As far as my educational background, I have a bachelor's in arts and criminal justice from LaSalle University, where I graduated in 2005. I also have a master's in science and forensic medicine, where I graduated from Philadelphia College of Osteopathic Medicine in 2007. I also have an additional 750 hours, approximately, of certificate training in a wide array of forensic specialties.
Let me interject for just a moment. You speak fast. Try to slow down if you can so my court reporter can take down everything you're saying, please.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Pearson, you may proceed.
On July 20th of 2012, were you working at the Aurora Police Department?
Yes, I was.
On that day, were you asked to respond to the shooting that occurred at the Century 16 Theater?
Yes.
When did you arrive on scene? What time?
Approximately 10 a.m.
What were you being asked to respond to do that day?
To assist Investigator Carroll with crime scene processing.
What's involved in processing the crime scene?
In this particular crime scene, my responsibility was to locate the victims through approximate measurements, as well as collect and document items of evidence.
Were you involved in getting the victims removed from the theater on July 20th of 2012?
Yes, I was.
Did that take most of the day to accomplish?
Objection relevance 403.
Sustained.
Did you do anything else on July 20th beyond getting the victims out of the theater?
No.
Did you return again on Saturday, on July 20th? Did you take some aerial photographs on July 20th?
Yes, I did.
On Friday afternoon? Your Honor, I'm going to approach the witness what have been marked as People's Exhibits 2972, 2988, and 2983.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do you recognize what is depicted in these photographs?
Yes, I do.
Did you in fact take these?
Yes, I did.
How did you take them? You appear to be above the ground.
Correct.
What did you use?
I met with members of the Aurora Fire Department who placed me in the bucket truck so I was able to provide the exterior photographs of the theater from above.
Your Honor, I'd move for the admission of People's Exhibits 2972, 2988, and 2983.
Any objection? Ms. Spengler?
If you don't object to the first two, I'd make a 403, 401 objection to 2983.
Can I see those pictures?
Yes,
please?
Your Honor.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Your objection is to 2983? All right, the objection is overruled. So P-TR-2983 is admitted over objection, P-TR-2988 and P-TR-2972 are both admitted without objection, and they may all be published. Thank you.
Could I have 2972, please? What are we looking at in this photograph?
This is an aerial photograph of the exterior of the theater, looking at the front of the theater, which would be to the west.
And looking, if you were going straight down from the theater, would that essentially be sort of the south?
Correct.
Could I have 2988, please? What are we looking at from this direction?
This is another aerial photograph of the exterior of the theater, and this would also be the front of the theater.
Your Honor, could I'm going to ask to pull up 2984, previously introduced, to give context to 2983.
Okay.
Could I have 2984 that's been previously admitted? What are we looking at in this photograph?
This would be the back of the theater, or to the east, in the focus going towards the south.
and 2983, please. What are we looking at here?
This would be the same area of the theater, so the back of the theater.
Thank you. Now, this was day one of your time in the theater. How many days total did you spend in the theater processing evidence?
9 days.
Did you return to the theater on Saturday, July 21st?
Yes, I did.
What was the focus of your work that day?
The main focus of the second day was to locate and mark items of evidence inside of Theater 9.
How many items of evidence were marked that day?
On that day, 123.
Did you mark those with folded cards?
I did.
Did you have enough, usually do you use regular placards that are pre-printed with a number on them?
Objection, relevance, and cumulative.
I didn't hear that, I'm sorry.
Objection, relevance, and cumulative to prior testimony.
Sustained.
Did you mark 123 items on that day?
Yes.
What kinds of items did you mark?
There was multiple different items to include shot pellets, shotgun wadding, casings, a spent clear-out canister, bone fragments, a shotgun, etc.
Did you pick up those items on that day?
No.
Did you return to the theater on Sunday, July 22nd?
Yes, I did.
What was the goal of your work that day in the theater?
The main focus of that day was to collect the items of evidence in Theater 9 that were marked the previous day.
How did you begin to do that? Did you collect all 123 yourself?
No.
How did you split up the duties to collect evidence?
We broke the evidence up in two sections. Investigator Carroll collected items 1 through 60, and I focused on items 61 through 123, and we did not collect the magazines at that time.
When you began to collect evidence in the theater, did you collect it sort of by areas in the theater?
Generally, yes.
What area of the theater did you collect the first items of evidence from?
The first section of evidence that I collected was located to the east of row 1. So as you look at the screen, it would be in front of row 1, generally located to the left, which would be to the north.
And if I could have you approach the model, and there's a microphone there that's a wireless microphone, if you can bring that too.
You need to turn it on.
Okay, thank you.
I would ask you to point out on the model where it is that you first collected evidence from.
The first set of evidence that I collected was located to the front of row 1, generally located to the left, which would be to the north.
When we're looking at the model, is this in fact row 1?
Yes,
Row 2, etc.
correct.
I'm going to hand you what have been marked as People's Exhibits 2889, 2890, 2893, 2892, and Exhibits 540, 541, 542, and 543.
Thank you.
Do you recognize those photographs and those items as items that you collected in the theater on July 22nd and photographs that depict them?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd move for the admittance of People's Exhibits 540 through 543 and 2889, 2890, 2893, and 2892.
Any objection, Ms. Spengler?
No objection.
All right, without objection, P-TR-2889, 2890, 2892, 2893, and 540 through 543 inclusive are admitted and may be published.
Could I have 540, please? I'm sorry, 2889. What are we looking at in this photograph?
This is placard 61, which was a spent casing.
Is that a 223 round casing?
Yes.
And item 540 that you have in front of you, if you could hold that up, please. Is that the item that was located at placard 61?
Yes, it was.
Could I have 2890, please? What are we looking at in this photograph?
This is placard number 62, which was a shot pellet.
And if you could take there's a pointer behind you there, and point out in the photograph where the pellet is,
Right in this area right here.
right in front of the number, the 62.
Correct.
And if you could hold up the packaging for Exhibit 541, please. Thank you. If I could have 2893, please. What are we looking at here?
This is placard number 63, which was also a spent casing.
And People's Exhibit 542?
Is the spent casing, correct?
And that's a spent casing, again, a 223 round casing.
Correct.
People's Exhibit 2892? What are we looking at here?
Placard number 64, which was a spent casing.
And People's Exhibit 543?
Is placard number 64.
Thank you. And all of those items were collected where in the theater?
In front of or to the east of row 1.
What's the next area that you collected evidence from in the theater?
The next area that I collected evidence from in the theater was generally located between row 1 and row 2, so the rows that are on the floor. And as one looks at the screen, they were located generally from left to right.
And if I could again have you approach the model with the microphone and show us where that is.
So with this row here being row 1, it was this being row 2, they were located in between the rows from left to right.
And if I could have People's Exhibits 544 to 552. Thank you. And I'm going to approach you now what have been marked as People's Exhibits 2897, 2898, 2900, 2899, 2902, 2903, 2904, 2812, 2905, and People's Exhibits 544 to 552. Do you recognize those items, physical items, as evidence that you picked up in the theater on July 22nd of 2012, and the photographs depicting those items?
Yes, I do.
Your Honor, I'd move for the admittance of People's Exhibits 544 to 552, as well as People's Exhibit 2897, 2898, 2900, 2899, 2902, 2903, 2904, 2812, and 2905.
Is there any objection?
No objection.
Without objection, Exhibits P-TR-544 through 552 inclusive are admitted and may be published. Same thing for P-TR-2897, 2898, 2899, 2900, 2902, 2903, 2904, 2905, and 2812.
Could I first have People's Exhibit 2897? What do we see in this photograph?
It's a photograph of evidence placard number 65, which was a spent casing.
And People's Exhibit 544, physical exhibit,
Which is the item of evidence photographed in 65.
People's Exhibit 2898, please. What do we see in this photograph?
It's a photograph of evidence placard number 66, which was also a spent casing.
People's Exhibit 545.
Which is evidence number 66, which is the spent casing.
2900, please. And what do we see in this photograph?
Evidence placard number 67, which is a spent casing.
And People's Exhibit 546.
Which is the item of evidence, the spent casing.
People's Exhibit 2899. What do we see in this photograph?
This is evidence placard number 68, which is the spent casing.
And People's Exhibit 547.
The spent casing.
Could I have 2812, please? And these are a little hard to read. Can you tell us what placards we're seeing in this photograph?
Yes, it's placard number 69, 71, 72, and 73.
And could I have People's Exhibit 2902, please? This is another photograph. There. And what do we see in that photograph?
This is a close-up photograph of evidence placard number 69, which is a spent casing.
And People's Exhibit 548.
The spent casing.
And is that from placard 69?
Correct.
And People's Exhibit 549.
This is the spent casing from placard 70.
Could I have 2903, please? What do we see in this photograph?
It's a photograph of evidence placard 71, which is a spent casing.
And Exhibit 550.
The spent casing at placard 71.
2904, please. What do we see here?
Evidence placard 72, which is a spent casing.
And 551.
Which is evidence item 72, the spent casing.
2905, please. What do we see in this photograph?
This is evidence placard 73, which is the spent casing.
And 552.
The item of evidence at 73, which is the spent casing.
Thank you. After you completed the evidence that was in this area, where did you next collect evidence from?
The next area that I collected evidence from was located to the west or in the back, to the back of row 2, scattered underneath of the seats.
And if you could again approach the model with the microphone and show us where the west of row 2 is.
So row 2, which is the second row here in the theater, the evidence was scattered on the floor underneath of the seats. So to the west, which is in back of.
And if I could have people's 553 to 555. Three, 554. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Ms. Pearson, what photographs did you just hand her?
People's 2896 and 2906
Thank you.
and 2895. Do you recognize the photographs and the physical exhibits I've given you as items that you picked up and photographs that depict them?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would move for the admittance of People's Exhibits 553, 554, 555, 2985, 2895, 2896, and 2906.
Any objection, Ms. Pengler?
No objection.
Without objection, People's Exhibits P-TR-553, 554, 555, 2895, 2896, and 2906 are admitted and may be published.
Could I have first People's 2895? What are we looking at in this photograph?
3 evidence placards in the area where I just pointed out on the model.
And 2906?
This is a close-up of evidence placard 75, which is a bullet fragment.
And 2896, please.
This is a close-up of evidence placard 74, which is a shot pellet.
And then if you could hold up 553, 554, and 555 and explain what each of those is.
Exhibit 553 is placard 74, which is the shot pellet.
554?
554 is placard 75, which is the bullet fragment.
And 555?
555 is placard 76, which is the spent casing.
Thank you. What was the next area in the theater where you collected evidence?
The next area in the theater where I collected evidence was located to the left or to the north of row 7.
Could you please again approach the model and tell us where it is? And I'll need 557.
So counting back from row 1, row 7 is the last row on the floor before the stadium seating. So the item was located to the left or to the north, which would be right in this area right here.
Thank you. And I'm going to hand you what have been marked as People's Exhibits 2818, 2818, 2914, and 557. Do you recognize that item and the photographs that depict it?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd move for the admittance of People's Exhibit 557, 2818, and 2914.
Is there any objection?
No objection.
Without objection, P-TR-2818, 2914, and 557 are admitted and may be published.
Could I have 2818, please? What are we looking at in this photograph?
This is evidence placard 78, which is the shotgun wadding.
Could I have 2914, please? What are we looking at here?
This is a close-up of that same placard 78, which is the shotgun wadding.
And 557, please.
557 is evidence placard number 78, which is the wadding.
Thank you. What was the next area in the theater where you collected evidence from?
The next area of the theater I collected evidence from was located in front of or to the east of row 8 on the floor.
And again, if you could approach the model and show us where that is.
Okay, so row 8, which is the first row in the stadium seating, the evidence was located in front of row 8, in back of row 7, scattered about on the floor, so in this area.
So right below the railing where the stadium seating begins?
Correct, on the floor level.
Where the stadium seating begins. And if I could have 558 to 563. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you recognize those items as pieces of evidence that you collected in the theater, as well as pictures that depict those items?
Yes, I do.
Your Honor, I would move for the admittance of People's Exhibits 558 to 563 and People's 2915, 2913, 2912, 2911, 2910, and 2909.
Is there any objection?
No objection.
All right, without objection, P-TR-557 through 563 inclusive are admitted, and then P-TR-2913, 2912, 2911, 2910, and 2909 are admitted, and they may be published.
Could I have 2915, please? What do we see in this photograph?
This is placard number 79, which is a shot pellet.
Again, could you point out with the pointer where the shot pellet is in this photograph? Right here. Thank you. And 558.
558 is placard 79, which is the shot pellet.
Could I have 2913, please? What are we looking at in this photograph?
This is placard number 80, which is a shot pellet.
And again, could you point out the shot pellet, please? Thank you. And 559. What is Exhibit 559?
559 is placard 80, which is the shot pellet.
2912.
2912 is placard 81, which is a spent casing.
Is that a 223 round?
Yes.
And 560?
560 is evidence number 81, which is the spent casing.
2911, please. What is this?
This is a photograph of evidence placard 82, which is also a spent casing.
And 561?
561 is placard 82, which is the spent casing.
Could I have 2910, please? What are we looking at here?
This is a photograph of evidence placard 83, which is a bullet fragment.
And 562?
562 is evidence placard 83, which is the fragment.
2909? And what are we looking at here?
This is a photograph of evidence placard 84, which is a spent casing.
And 563?
563 is placard 84, which is the spent casing.
Thank you. What was the next area in the theater that you collected evidence from?
The next area in the theater I collected evidence from generally was in the south hallway. So as one looks at the screen, it will be the hallway located to the right.
Again, could you approach the model and show us where that is?
Okay, so again, as you were to look at the screen, it would be the hallway located to the right. So starting about in this area and proceeding from front to back. So from east to west, the evidence was scattered down the hallway.
And could I have 564 to 577? Thank you. I'm going to hand you what have been marked as People's Exhibits 564 to 577 inclusive. And photographs 2907, 2825, 2917, 2919, 2920, 2828, 2921, 2923, 2924, 2927, 2928, and 2850. Your Honor, one of these may have been previously admitted. Is that 2828?
I don't have them memorized yet. It has been admitted.
Okay. So with the exception of not admitting that one, the rest of these I will also. Do you recognize these physical exhibits as items of evidence that you collected in the theater on July 22nd of 2012?
Yes.
And do you recognize these photographs as depicting the items that you collected in the theater at the same time?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would move for the admittance of People's Exhibits 564 to 577 inclusive, as well as 2907, 2825, 2917, 2919, 2920, 2923, 2924, 2927, 2928, and 2850.
I had 2921 in there as well. Are you moving to admit that one too, or did I write that wrong?
Do I don't think, do I have
It's
a,
included in there,
do I have a
right?
2921?
Yes, Your Honor, 2921.
Okay, that one too then.
All right, any objection?
No objection.
All right, without objection, P-TR-564 through 577 inclusive are admitted, as are P-TR-2907, 2825, 2917, 2919, 2920, 2921, 2923, 2924, 2927, 2928, and 2850.
Could I have 2907, please? $2907. And what do we see in this photograph?
This is a photograph of evidence placard 85, which is a spent casing of .40 caliber.
2825? We'll just go through the photos first. What do we see in this?
This is a photograph of placard 87, which is a live round.
2917? What do we see depicted in this photograph?
This is a photograph of evidence placard 88, which is also a live round.
And live round means a round that has not been shot.
Correct. Yes.
2919? What do we see in this photograph?
This is 3 evidence placards, evidence placard 91, 92, and 93, and all 3 are live rounds.
And then, do you see what is next to placard 93?
I do,
What
yes.
is that item?
That is a drum magazine.
Could I have 2920, please? What do we see in this photograph?
Several evidence placards as well as the drum magazine. Drum, yes, D-R-U-M.
2921, please? What do we see in this photograph?
This is evidence placard 96, which is also a live round.
And could I also have 2828 that's been previously admitted? In addition to the magazine, are there other placards that are depicted in this photograph?
Yes.
What numbers are they?
Evidence placard 91, 90, 92, 93, 94, 96.
And besides the drum, what are the rest of the items?
These are live rounds.
Could I have 2923, please? What do we see in this photograph?
This is placard number 97, which is also a live round.
And what is it, placard 98?
98 is a magazine.
And those were collected at a later, we actually heard about those before. They were collected by Nick Carroll.
Correct.
2924, please. What do we see in this photograph?
This is evidence placard 100, which is a live round.
2927. What is this?
This is evidence placard 103, which is a live round.
2928. What is
This
this?
is evidence placard 104, which is a live round.
2850. What are we viewing here?
This is the area I pointed out on the model. This is the south hallway. The view is looking back to the west or towards the entrance of Theater 9.
And now looking at the items of evidence I gave you, if you could tell us what is 564?
564 is placard 85, which was the spent .40 caliber casing.
565?
565 is placard 87, which is the live round.
566?
566 is placard 88, which is the live round.
567?
567 is placard 91, which is also a live round.
And these are, the first one, the live round is a 223 round.
Correct.
568?
568 is placard 92, which is a live round.
569?
569 is placard 93, which is a live round.
570?
570 is placard 94, which is a live round.
571?
571 is placard 95, which is a live round.
572?
572 is placard 96, which is also a live round.
573?
573 is placard 97, which is also a live round.
And those were all live 223 rounds?
Correct.
574?
574 is placard 99, which is a live round, .40 caliber.
575?
575 is placard 100, which is the live round, the .223.
576?
576 is placard 103, which is the live round.
And 577?
577 is placard 104, which is also a live round.
What was the area that you next collected evidence from in the theater?
The area of the theater I collected evidence from next was located at the end of the hallway back towards the entrance, so the end of the south hallway.
If you could again go to the model and point out that area for us, please.
Okay, so the area where we just were, which was the south hallway, the next set of evidence that I collected was located at the end of the hallway, so to the west, back towards the entrance, the main entrance to Theater 9.
So it'd be going towards the direction of the lobby?
Correct.
And if I could have 578 to 581. Thank you. I'm going to hand you what have been marked as People's Exhibits 578 through 581 inclusive. And 2929, 2930, and 2931.
Thanks.
Do you recognize these items of evidence as well as the photographs that depict them as things that you collected in the theater and photographs of the same items?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would move for the admittance of People's Exhibits 578 through 581 inclusive, as well as People's Photographs 2929, 2930, and 2931.
Ms. Spengler, is there any objection to these exhibits?
No objection.
Without objection, P-TR-578 through 581 inclusive are admitted, as are P-TR-2929 through 2931 inclusive, and they may be published.
Could I have People's Exhibit 2929, please? What do we see depicted in this photograph?
This is evidence placard 105 and evidence placard 106, which are spent casings, .40 caliber spent casings.
2930? What is this?
This is evidence placard 107, which is also a spent .40 caliber casing.
And 2931? What is this?
This is evidence placard 108, which is also a .40 caliber spent casing.
And if you could look at the exhibits, please, 578, what is that?
578 is placard 105, which is the .40 caliber spent casing.
579?
579 is placard 106, which is also the .40 caliber spent casing.
580?
580 is placard 107, also a .40 caliber spent casing.
And 581?
581 is placard 108, which is also the .40 caliber spent casing.
And these were all located in the hallway going towards the lobby.
Correct.
After you had collected these items, where did you next collect evidence generally?
Generally, the next set of evidence that I collected was evidence that was scattered in the stadium seating, so rows 8 through 20.
I'm going to hand you what has been marked as People's Exhibit 2932, 2934, 2938, 2937, 2942, 2944, 2945, and 2894. And could I also have People's Exhibits 582 and 583, 584, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, and 93. So basically 582 to 593. No, it's over. Do you recognize all of these as items that you collected in the theater on July 22nd of 2012?
Yes.
And are these photographs that depict items that you collected in the theater?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would move for the admittance of People's Exhibits 582 to 593 and People's Exhibits 2932, 2934, 2938, 2937, 2942, 2944, 2945, and 2894.
Ms. Pingler, is there any objection?
No objection to the physical exhibits. I would make an objection to photograph 2932 and 2934 under relevance in 403. No objection to the remainder of the photographs.
All right, can I see those photographs, please?
Yes, Your Honor. All of them or just those two?
Let me see all of them, please. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, after reviewing the group of photographs, the objections as to P-TR-2932 and 2934 are overruled, and so those are admitted and may be published. The rest of the exhibits, P-TR-2937, 2938, 2942, 2944, 2945, 2894, and 582 through 593 inclusive are admitted without objection and may be published. Thank you.
Could I first have 2932, please? What are we looking at in this photograph?
This is a photograph of evidence placard 109, which is the shotgun wadding.
Where was this located?
I would have to refer to my report for the exact location.
Okay. And would you look at People's Exhibit 582, please? Is that the item that is depicted in 109?
Yes, it is. It's the shotgun wadding.
Okay. If you could refer to your report?
Would that help you refresh your memory?
Yes, it would, Your Honor.
All right, do you have the report with you?
I do not. They took it back.
Okay. Is your report 34 pages?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Thank you.
So you can review it, and when you're done reviewing it, turn it face down, okay? Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Ms. Pearson?
Do you recall where placard 109, the shotgun wadding, was located in the theater?
Did that refresh your memory?
Yes, it did.
All right, now ask the question.
Do you recall where in Theater 9 the shotgun wadding at placard 109 was located?
Row 8, seat 15.
And that's the first row behind, the first row of the stadium seating.
Correct.
And seats are numbered left to right like you read, so this would be further towards the right side of the theater facing the screen.
Correct.
Could I have People's 2934 up, please? What are we looking at in this photograph?
This is evidence placard 110, which is shotgun wadding.
And People's Exhibit 583.
This is the shotgun wadding at placard 110.
Do you know where in Theater 9 placard 110 was?
In the stadium seating.
Do you know which row it was in?
I would have to refer to my report.
Would that refresh your recollection?
Yes, it would.
Would you do that, please? Is your recollection refreshed?
Yes.
Where was that item collected?
Row 9, seat 7.
Could I next have, looking at People's Exhibit 593, physical exhibit, what is that?
Did you mean 583?
No, I actually meant 593.
Oh, okay.
And you can take the photo down.
593 is a spent clear-out canister that was collected as placard 111.
Do you know where in the theater that was located?
Again, I would have to refer to my report outside of the stadium seating.
And would you do that, please?
Yes.
That would refresh your recollection.
Ms. Pearson?
Is your recollection refreshed?
Yes.
Where was the clear-out canister collected?
Row 9, seat 4, underneath.
And if you could go to the model and show us where row 9, seat 4 is, please.
Sure. So again, rows 1 through 7 being on the floor level. The first row in the stadium seating is row 8. This would be row 9. Seat 4, just like reading a book, starting with number 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It would be this seat right here,
And where was it located in relation to this seat?
underneath of the seat. Thank you. You're welcome.
Could I have 2938, please? What are we looking at in this photograph?
This is evidence placard 113, which is shotgun wadding.
And People's Exhibit 585?
This is evidence number 113, which is the shotgun wadding.
Could I have 2937, please? What is this a photograph of?
This is a photograph of placard 114, which is also shotgun wadding.
And 586?
This is the evidence placard number 114, which is the shotgun wadding.
2942? What is this a photograph of?
2942 is of evidence placard 117, which is a projectile.
And item 587?
This is the piece of evidence photographed at 117, which is that projectile.
Exhibit 588? What is 588?
588 is from placard 119, which is another shot pellet.
Could I have 2944, please? What is this?
This is evidence placard number 120, which is a shot pellet.
And 589?
This is that piece of evidence photographed at 120, which is the shot pellet.
2945? What is this?
This is evidence placard 121, which is a bullet fragment.
590?
590 is that piece of evidence at 121, which is the bullet fragment.
Would you look at Exhibit 591, please?
Yes.
What is that?
This is placard 122, which is shotgun wadding.
And do you know what shotgun wadding is?
Yes.
What is it?
It's located inside of a shot shell or shotgun shell, and is expelled after the shell is shot.
Could I have 2894, please? What is this?
This is evidence placard 123, which is a shot pellet.
And and Exhibit 592?
This is that piece of evidence photographed with 123, which is the shot pellet.
Once you had collected all of these items of evidence, and did it take you all of the day on Sunday, July 22nd, to collect these items of evidence?
It did not.
What else did you do on that day?
At the end of the day that day, which was Sunday, July 22nd, 2012, after I collected those items of evidence, I went out in the hallway and I met with Agent de France from the FBI, who advised that he was on scene to begin documentation of impacts and bullet holes inside of Theater 9.
Did you assist in some fashion with that process?
I did.
What did you do?
I provided photographs of the holes.
How were the holes marked on the seats?
So a label was placed on each one of the holes with several notations. The first notation on the label would be a theater number, so there would either be an 8 or 9 on the label. The number that came after the theater number would be a dash and then an impact number. So in a sequential numbering system in Theater 9, we started with 9-1 and we continued up to 9-240. In Theater 8, we began with 8-1 and we continued up to 8-16. Also on that label, there was a possibility for other notation. If it was located in the rows or the seats of that center aisle, it would have an R or an S number for the row and the seat. If it was located in that left aisle of seats or the right aisle of seats, it could have an LA or an RA. And then if it was located in a wall, it would just have that theater number, so an 8 or a 9, and the impact number without a row, seat, or aisle.
And as you were photographing the impacts, did you also find items of evidence that you needed to collect that were discovered as you were doing that?
Yes.
If I could have People's Exhibits 619 and 620. I'm going to hand you what have been marked as People's Exhibits 619 and 620. Do you recognize those items?
I do.
Were those items that you collected in the theater during the 9 days that you spent there?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd move for the admittance of People's Exhibits 619 and 620.
Any objection, Ms. Spengler?
No objection.
All right, without objection, P-TR-619 and 620 are admitted.
And if you could tell us, what is People's Exhibit 619?
Exhibit 619 is a fragment that I found inside of Theater 9 in the right aisle of row 9.
So where would that be in the theater?
As one looks at the screen, the right aisle would be to the right.
And near row 9?
Correct, in the stadium seating.
And People's Exhibit 620?
620 is another fragment that was found in Theater 9, row 11, seat 19.
And seat 19 would be close to the end of the right because there's 20 seats in a row, is that right?
Correct, it would be close to the end of that center aisle.
I am going to hand you what have been marked as People's Exhibits 3089, 3090, 3091, 3092, 3093, and 3094. Do you recognize those photographs?
Yes.
Are those photographs that you took of holes in the theater that were being documented?
Yes.
Do they fairly and accurately represent what you observed in the theater?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would move for the admittance of 3089, 3090, 3091, 3092, 3093, and 3094.
Is there any objection, Ms. Spengler?
No objection to those photos?
Okay, without objection, P-TR-3089 through 3094 inclusive are admitted and may be published.
Could I have 3089, please? What are we looking at in this photograph?
So this is impact 9-1. This was in row 1, seat 16.
Could I have 3090, please? Where is the impact located in this photograph?
This is in the front of the chair at row 1, seat 16.
And in this particular photograph, can you point out where it is?
Yes. Right in this area right there.
Thank you. Could I have 3091, please? And what does this reflect?
This would be impact 9-2, which was located in row 2, seat 22.
And could I have 3093, please? What is depicted here?
This is hole 9-3, which was located in a pole. This pole was located in between row 7 and row 8, so in front of where the stadium seating started.
And 3094? And is this the same pole?
Yes,
Is this a different angle?
it is. This is impact 9-4, and this is the back of the pole.
Okay, there's a front of the pole that has a hole on the front, and then this is the back.
Correct.
And if I could also have you go to the model now and mark the seats. I'm going to give you a silver marker that we have found impacts in so far. And if you could also first tell us, when we were looking at 9-3 and 9-4, you said it's a pole. Where is the pole located?
The pole is located on the south side, so on the right side, right in this area right here.
And the first one you noticed was row 1, seat 16.
Okay, so row 1 down here, seat 16. Would be right here. The 16th seat over from the left. Okay,
Was 9-2 in that same seat, or was that a different seat?
let me refer to the photograph. 9-2 was also seat 16 in row 1.
Thank you.
Ms. Pearson, would this be a good time to take our afternoon break?
Certainly, Your Honor.
All right, members of the jury, let's go ahead and take our afternoon break. Please remember that my advisements apply during each and every break, and so they apply during this break, and you must comply with all of them, please. Enjoy the break. I'll see you back here in 20 minutes. Thank you.
Probably not. So, this is going to take a long time.
The record should reflect that the jury has exited the courtroom. Everyone may be seated, please. Do we need to talk about anything at this time on behalf of the people?
No, Your Honor.
Anything on behalf of the defense? No. Ms. Tish McGuire, did you edit that exhibit that we talked about earlier today? Okay, and that's right, it's done. So would you give it to my staff, please? Yes. All right, thank you. Okay, thank you, folks. Enjoy your break. Thank you. The court will be in recess.
All rise.